warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Everyone, thank you for joining this live session. So today for this Treasure from Trash session, I will become your moderator. And here we have our honorable speaker, Muhammad Tarek from Earth, the founder of Earth. So this for this first hangout session, we will talk about the topic treasure from trash. So before we continue, we start our session. I would like to invite Mr. Muhammad to tell us a little bit about his background or his achievement, what he has done, what is his vision, everything. So please welcome.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you very much for organizing this. My name is Muhammad Tariq Al-Fatatri. I'm the founder of Earth. I co-founded it with my co-founder Nahid, who also happens to be my wife. And we came to Malaysia in 2018 because we were very passionate about trying to solve the e-waste problem in the world. And we knew that half of the world's e-waste came from Asia. So when we researched about Asia, where is the place where we can start? Malaysia was very suitable market conditions for us. So alhamdulillah, we made this decision and we came here. And when we came, we knew that there was a problem with e-waste, not just here, but in the world. But then we started to research about here in Malaysia, where is the e-waste going? And we found some data from the Jabatan Alam Sekitar that says that 75% of the e-waste that is generated here in Malaysia is not properly recycled. So it's higher. The recycling rate is a bit higher than the world. The world recycling rate is 17.4. So here we have 25%. It's slightly higher, but it's still not an ideal scenario. There is still too many devices ending up in the landfill. So, in a typical person's lifetime, we consume about 200 different electronic devices during our life. And that means about 1 ton. So each person will produce about 1 ton of e-waste during their life. So if 750 kg of that is dumped in the landfill, it actually stays there for like centuries after even the person is gone. So this is really not the legacy that we want to leave behind, because the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said that if Yawm al-Qiyamah is happening and you are planting a tree, then you should finish planting the tree. So this means that until the end of time, we need to properly preserve the environment of this planet and so on. And definitely by dumping our electronic in the landfill and contaminating the soil and water, we are actually killing trees, not planting trees. So definitely we have to reverse this unhealthy trend. And that's why we started Earth, which I will tell you more about during the talk.
So I like how he mentioned the Rasulullah said that even if the Qiyamah is coming and we are planting a tree, so we need to continue planting the tree. So this tells us how important are the efforts of saving our earth. So to relate to our topic about e-waste, so planting a tree and not throwing e-waste away everywhere has some similarities. So planting a trees, we create more oxygens and we provide more shelters and coolness for our environment, and not throwing away our e-waste is also can help to reduce the what we call the heat in our environment. So before this I have read your like biography, and you were studying in Finland and you have your startup in Finland. So what does inspire you to come to Malaysia and you start the Earth? What you see in Malaysia? why you think of starting a e-waste recycling company but not other green business or other services? Why e-waste? Why you start Earth? Can you share to us?
Yes. So first of all, about the Malaysia. So Malaysia has been a very special place for me because when I was 17 years old, which is a long, long time ago, in 2002, I came to Malaysia on a visit with my family. And at that time, I was just a teenager, and I told my family, "Oh, this is such a nice place. I want to live here." And they were laughing because before that we also like went to Paris, and I also like Paris. I also told them before I want to live in Paris. So it's just sounded to them like, oh, here we go again. But actually, in reality, after that, I had visited about 25 countries, and still Malaysia somehow remained special for me. So in 2014, I was doing a business degree in Finland, and we had like a mid-year break of 2 weeks. And during those 2 weeks, I also chose to come to Malaysia out of all the countries. I mean, at that time, I had Finnish citizenship. I can travel like 150 countries without visa, but just somehow I still choose to come to Malaysia. So Malaysia was very special for me from a very young age. And why did I choose the e-waste issue? I think it's because when we talk about the environment and the climate issues, most of the time, if there is like some kind of a government official, then he probably will roll his eyes and say, "Oh, here we go again. We have to subsidize, we have to encourage, we have to spend money, etc." We don't have much money. We want to stimulate the economy. We want to, like, for example, Trump. He removed the taxes or reduced the taxes for the oil companies, and that why? Because he wants cheaper oil, and then he wants to grow the economy. So that is one side of it. But on the other side is, of course, the long-term effect of all our behavior, the consumer behavior of the world. So when you find something which is both environmentally good, of course recycling is environmentally good, but at the same time it also has a proper business model. It has a real economic effect because this e-waste is not, it's metals, right? So these metals, the world spend a lot of effort and time and money to dig it out of the ground. So we have already dug these metal before. So why throw it in the landfill? Why can't we just take it and melt it again and make new products out of it? So e-waste had a very strong business model, and that is what made this an attractive business. And then the third part came, which is also the social good. So we are using the freelancers. Anybody, you can be a hero. Anyone can be a hero. Even me, I'm also being a hero sometimes. So any person can basically sign up, and they will start to collect in their own local community, local area, the e-waste, and they can earn income from that. So we aligned first the environmental with the economic, and then we aligned it with the social good. And I wouldn't say it's like it's very common, I think, to find a business that can align all of these together and still make good amount of money. So alhamdulillah, I think we have already been profitable on our first year. On our second year, we're even more profitable, and now our business model is very, very strong and healthy, and investors are interested in our business. So this is actually why I chose this. It has a very strong economic impact.
Wow, I capture a lot of points he taught here. Firstly, because thank you for your elaborations on how you choose Malaysia. For Malaysian myself, I'm very proud so that you choose Malaysia. So why did you choose Earth? Here I can list out 3 points. Firstly, because the business model of e-waste recycling is very strong because it can relate to other production, metal productions, and other than the business model is very strong, we can provide like jobs or opportunity for freelancers to get their additional income. And lastly, it can contribute to environment and social impact. So we can see here that this business model relates to a lot of supply chain in environment, social, and also in economic. So we will talk more about the business model after this. So we will focus on e-waste first. So e-waste currently, e-waste is quite a novel term to Malaysians. Can you explain more on the term itself? What does e-waste mean? What example of e-waste, everything?
Yeah. So, whenever we add the word e to something, it means that it become, electronic, So we even nowadays have like
Mm,
e-cigarettes or whatever, it's like a funny thing. You just add
mm,
the e and then it just become electronic. So actually has the same meaning in waste as well. Anything which have electricity running through it, like
mm,
battery, light
mm,
bulb, wire, computer, TV, anything which have electricity running through it, that at the end of its life is considered e-waste. And why do we specifically talk about waste? Because if you bought a bigger TV and your old TV still works, we don't consider the old TV as e-waste. You should not throw it. Some people do, but you should not do that. You should maybe sell it online or try to
mm,
donate it to someone or something like that. Let it live to the end of its life, being
mm.
used, not to just throw it irresponsibly. So that's why we call it e-waste, because at the end of its life, when it's not useful anymore for its original purpose, then it basically becomes waste. So then we have to process it in a different way.
Oh, thank you so much information and explanation. So we call it from the term itself is e-waste. So waste refers to like trash or trash lah. So it it relates to our topic today, treasure from trash. For from the trash like the broken TV or broken phone, we can turn it into treasure. Why treasure? Because it gives economic opportunity and other opportunity for our environment and our community. So the next question I would like to ask Mr. Muhammad is in you promoting the awareness of recycling e-waste, do you have any like challenge? Like why do you think that it is hard for us to promote the importance of e-waste disposal in the correct way? Do you think like people don't interested to it, or how do you think about it?
I think it's because e-waste is not something that we dispose on a daily basis. Plastic, daily we throw it away. Paper, food, sometimes food waste every day. So it's something which constantly in front of people. But e-waste, maybe once or twice a year only, you throw away your old
Mm,
electronics. So that's why maybe it's a little bit out of sight, out of mind.
mm,
But actually, the problem is that e-waste, even though it's only 3% of the landfill composition, it's actually contributing 70% of the toxic heavy metals. The toxic heavy metal don't come from plastic waste, paper waste, or food waste. They actually come from e-waste. So the 3% responsible for 70% of the toxic heavy metals, it's a very serious issue that we definitely need to focus on.
So you say like unlike other trash like plastic or food waste, we throw it away every day. So people will have more like awareness on how to handle it properly. But e-waste is quite different because we only throw it like 1 year, once a year, or once or for 2 year, or like sometimes we never throw it away, but we just put it in our house. So people don't think much about it. So it is a bit hard to promote the awareness, right? So okay. So do you for the e-waste itself, like TV or radio? I'm curious. How do we determine the value of e-waste actually? Like, there are phones, iPhone or Samsung phone. It is much valuable than a big TV or a big printer. How do we determine the value of e-waste?
Yes, because the more computing equipment is inside a device, I'm talking about IC chips and processors and RAM and so on.
Mm,
That means the more gold is inside, because actually they use the gold because gold does not react. The gold can basically help the performance of these internal components for a long time without being affected by humidity or oxygen. For example, the big old style TV, that had mercury, which is toxic, and also has a lot of glass, so it's very very heavy and hard to handle. And the amount of metal inside is quite small. But if you go to a new iPad, for example, it's smaller in size, but inside you got the IC chips and you got the components which have some gold and silver inside. So that's why the value of that small device is more than the value of the big device.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Muhammad, for the explanation for e-waste. So we skip a little bit about e-waste. We would like to ask more details about like the business management itself. So from the BMC, you said that business model for this business is very strong for ourselves and also for the investor. Investors are interested to invest in this business venture. So what do you think about like for maybe like in 5 years, will you continue to focus on this business model or you will change your focus and e-waste will be your like second service product or like that? How can you explain about it?
I definitely don't think that in 5 years we would
Mm,
be able to solve the e-waste problem. I think that this is a problem that if I even manage to solve it during my lifetime, I will be a very very lucky man. So I think it's a long-term problem, and it's also a problem that affects all the countries in the world. Wherever there is people in the world, there is technology, and there is e-waste. So as we just continue to solve this problem area by area, we will just keep expanding to new locations and try
mm,
to solve it as much as we can. So definitely we have a
mm,
lot of work ahead of us. I don't think we are
mm,
gonna pivot unless necessary,
mm,
but for the time being, I don't think
mm,
we would pivot to anything else, because this is already a lot of work, and it's already
mm,
doing very good results, and we
mm,
seem to be doing well in it relative
mm.
to the way it has been before we came. So I think we just need to continue focus and scale this as much as we can.
I see. So, like Mr. Muhammad said that he does not only like interested in this business model like in short term, but he see it in a longer term because the problem is will always there. So if we change like this business model from other business model, this problem will continue to arise in the next in the future. So instead of like choosing the perfect business model, we just need like to focus on one and expand to other locations and other companies, other startups, other community because we are not making profit. We also solving the other people's problem. So problems of people will always exist. So his inspiration is not only by making profit. He want to solve our problem. So that's so much inspiring. Thank you, Mr. Muhammad. So okay,
Thank you.
so we move back to the e-waste issue. What are your thoughts on a vending machine that rewards money in exchange of recyclable trash? Like we have machine for mineral water or carbohydrate water. So do you think we can make a vending machine for e-waste recycling? We
Like
put e-waste and we get cash.
15 years ago when I moved to Finland, this machine already existed. So this kind of
Oh,
machine in Finland, the recycling rate for plastic bottles, the Coca-Cola bottles and stuff, they are like 97%. And the reason why it is so high is because when you buy the Coca-Cola bottle in Finland, yeah, the Coke costs €2, but you actually pay €2 and 20 cents. And this 20 cents is the deposit for the plastic bottle. And then when you return the plastic bottle to the vending machine, you get your 20 cents back. So that is how they are
mm,
managed to raise the recycling rate to 97%. So this idea already exists, and I think it's very successful. I think the reason why it has not happened in Malaysia yet is for two reasons. Number one, in Finland, the labor cost is very, very high. So if the government was to hire like laborers to go around the street to collect the plastic what people throw, it would be very, very expensive. So that's why the government makes the law that the supermarket charge the deposit, and then the law also obligates the supermarket to create this machine which can process the plastic bottles, and then the whole system support itself. But here I think the companies have a different approach, because they say, oh, the labor is cheap, so I'll just let some workers to collect it and stuff. But of course that is not a very successful approach. And I think if the citizens are part of the solution, because they are part of the problem, they are the one who consume the beverage and they are the one who throw. So if they themselves become part of the solution, I think that will be a more comprehensive approach, and it will improve the recycling rate. So inshallah, I hope to see it here. I know that these machines are not cheap, though. They are like, they can cost about 40,000 ringgit per piece. So I
Mm,
think if you like for example, one of my friends was thinking of doing this idea here, but the problem is, without the legislation which mark the price of the plastic to be, because actually the real value of the plastic bottle is 1 cent, but they charge
mm,
20 cents. So
mm,
they artificially inflate the price of the bottle by 20 times in
mm,
order to make the system work. But here,
mm,
if you don't have the system, then you have to rely on the true value of the plastic bottle, which is 1 cent. So it
mm.
means for you to collect 1 ringgit, you have to collect 100 bottle, which is a lot. So nobody will do it because it's too little. So maybe the legislation can, push the price high, like 20 cents per bottle or something like that. Then you only need 5 bottles to get 1 ringgit. So a lot of people will do it.
Also interesting, the this recycling rate in Euro in Finland. So I'm also surprised that in Malaysia we don't have such machine, but in Finland, Mr. Muhammad said that it was like 97%. There was the culture and the awareness. So from the machine itself is a bit.
Actually, it's also because they want the money. It's not only the culture and awareness. It's also because they get their 20 cent
Yes,
back. So it's also the monetary incentive.
they get rewarded by doing a good thing, right? So from I understand here, like in Finland, there are some regulations all from government. They decide that every production of tin or Coca-Cola bottle, we need to charge like 20 times over it, so that people can find the value in it, so we can make the system work. So I think in Malaysia we are a bit backward, and we need more efforts to do it. But as for the suggestion and advice from Mr. Muhammad, maybe it takes a lot of time if we are trying to just uh, apply what has been applied in Finland, because in Malaysia and Europe it's a bit different because our culture and our worldview and everything. So maybe we need to do some research on what kind of solution that we need to raise the awareness. So it's a good idea, and maybe after this we can try to propose it to the government or anything, inshallah. So okay, back to the business model. So you mentioned that you have a lot of freelancers, right? So you can cover a lot of location in Selangor, right? Selangor, right? Currently, you can
In
cover
all Klang Valley, not just
all Klang Valley. So
Slangor. I mean, Taibolo down to Tenkel, and from Kajang all the way to Klang.
mm,
So it's all this region. We'd love to go to other parts of Malaysia as well, but as we don't have yet warehouses in those other regions,
mm,
so we are unable to support the heroes by providing them the drop-off point, because that's the most important thing for the hero. If the hero is going to do like let's say 20 orders per week or more than that, then definitely he will not have enough space in his own home to store
mm,
all that electronic, because it start to become like a big amount. So that's why we need to have our own warehouse where all the heroes in the area can come and drop the items. So we currently have multiple locations in Klang Valley
mm.
to drop the items. And inshallah, next year we will open new location in other areas as well.
Oh, so you say like what you need to expand to bigger location is like more freelancers and warehouse, right? So maybe we can think about like in every region in Malaysia, every state, they will have like their government official or state official to to make some warehouse for public use for environmental solution. But maybe we will talk later about it. So other than it, can you share more about what advice can you give to the Malaysian about e-waste management? General advice.
So, I'm not advocating that we go back to the Stone Age and we cease using all kinds of technology. Actually, not at all. I am myself. I upgraded both my phone and my laptop this year, and I'm also very eagerly waiting for the PlayStation 5 to come so I can buy it. So it's all like. Okay to use all these technologies, but you have to responsibly hand over your old device which you don't use anymore to the right channel. Either sell it online if you want the money, or donate it to someone. Make it be used. Don't just leave it in your drawer for years until you just pile up these big bunch of dusty electronic, and then you are so fed up at some point in the future that you just want to throw them in the trash. That's not good responsible behavior. So and also it's not good for your own money, because the sooner you get rid of the item, the more money you can make from it. So it's better for you, for the economic, and it's also better for the environment that someone else can use it for another few years before eventually going to the e-waste. But if the device is already e-waste, then please give it to an authorized collector like us, so that we can recycle it with the proper channels.
Okay, so I have this one question, one random question that pop up from my mind. So do you
Okay.
think Malaysia has the chance or potential to become the top country in Asian or the world in terms of green initiative?
Okay, definitely. Okay, first of all, I want to tell you about the ASEAN situation. The top country for recycling is South Korea with 45%, and then number two is Singapore, 35%, and Malaysia is number three, 25%.
Mm,
Actually, I know that there is already like more than 50 recycling factories in Malaysia, and if you go to these factory and you ask them, "Are you operating at capacity?" Most of them are operating at 50% capacity or less, which mean that they can still handle double what they are handling right now. So if they all double their capacity, let's say within the next 5 years, then Malaysia will jump the recycling rate from 25% up to 50%. And then we will become the number one in ASEAN for the recycling, even more than 45% of South Korea, inshallah.
inshallah. So like you said, there are recycling factory in Malaysia who operate in 50% of their capacity, right? So okay, as for Earth, you only promote e-waste recycling, and what about others materials? How can you promote the e-waste recycling and it give benefit to other materials, other waste like food waste or
So we started an exciting campaign in August this year. It's actually still running until December. So this campaign, we partnered with a fabric recycler called Cloth. So we created a drop-off point in Puchong, in a Shell gas station, where you can go 24-hour and you can drop your fabric and e-waste, and you can redeem fuel or snacks from the Shell shop, depending on the amount that you have recycled. So this is very, very successful, and we have now I think we have redeemed, the people have redeemed like more than 5,000 ringgit in only a few weeks of free
Mm.
fuel and free snacks. So it's very successful. I think we're definitely, inshallah, gonna repeat it next year in more stations.
Wow, cool. I also go through your Facebook page, and there are like so many events involving other recycling company, like you said before,
Yeah,
recycling. So it's a good initiative. So please keep it up. We
thank you,
we are supporting you.
thank
So
you.
maybe here in this live session, there are some people from environmental movement also is watching. So maybe you can share like what kind of help or support that you need currently. Might maybe like logistic partner or more investor in other industry or anything. Maybe they will contact you after this.
What we really need at the moment is only one thing. We upgraded our warehouse capacity this year 5 times. So we now have a very big facility which can handle like let's say 20 or 30 tons of e-waste at a time without any problem. So that is fine. We also have hundreds or thousands of heroes that are ready to collect the e-waste from everywhere. We are already generating profit, so we don't necessarily need any external investment. The one thing what we really need for 2021, we need to upgrade and increase the amount of orders, the bookings that are
Mm,
coming through our system. We can handle up to double or triple the amount that what we handle now easily. So the what we need is we need more awareness and we need more bookings so that every day we can process hundreds of different collection or thousands, inshallah.
mm,
And that is really the way we can increase the recycling rate. We have been preparing ourselves for this moment for the last 2 years. We've been building our
mm,
capacity. We've been training our guys slowly, and not
mm,
even marketing. We are just looking for the organic growth for the last 2 years
mm,
because we didn't want to increase the marketing, and then when people make the booking we unable to fulfill, for example. So that was a risk in the
mm,
beginning when we didn't have enough drivers and so on. But today I'm happy to say we have enough drivers, we have enough storage capacity. So now we are really ready for showtime. Let's just try to increase the number of orders as much as we can, and I think that we have I think an ongoing discussion with IIUM Youth Business League about also creating at your location one of our drop-off points where anybody from the general public can come and get the cash reward as if they have come all the way to Cyberjaya. So more of these kind of partnerships are definitely going to help us increase the volume, inshallah.
Oh, so I capture from his word that they already prepare for this time, that they have a lot of heroes and their warehouse capacity is more than enough. So what they need only for is more orders and more bookings. So maybe if there are anyone want to initiate something, maybe we can create like some website and drive people to book their order, and so they can continue to recycle more and more and more. So I think there are a lot of things we have discussed here. So for maybe for last question or last sharing session from you, what your vision, what your mission, or what can you what you want to tell us? Anything you want to tell us?
So I really hope that inshallah we can double the recycling rate of Malaysia over the next 5 years. Inshallah we can be number one in ASEAN and then
Mm,
export the innovation what we have done here to other
mm,
countries. We already started in the Netherlands. We already actually
mm,
doing some collection in Amsterdam, not the same way as here in Malaysia, but we just start as a pilot project, and slowly,
mm,
inshallah, we will take this Malaysian innovation to the rest of the world. So Maybe just my final word is just to say thank you to IIUM. IIUM have been a good partner for 2020, even though it was a very hard time, the COVID and
Mm.
so on. But after our launch event, I'm glad to say that we have performed multiple collections from IIUM, and we think that as the situation with the pandemic improve, inshallah, next year, I think our result will be more fruitful. So thank you for your support, and thank you for caring about the environment. And I think that with the new drop-off point that we are planning together, where we will now we just have a box where people can just donate their electronic, but I think the economic impact is also important. So once we
Mm.
have a dedicated drop-off where people can actually get paid for the electronic, just like we do here in Cyberjaya, I think that will drive even more donation and more activity. So inshallah, let's just get started, and I think 2021 will be a good year, inshallah, for everyone.
Inshallah. So thank you very much, Mr. Muhammad, for the informative sharing session. So maybe if anyone have any question after this, maybe you can just contact him. You can search his website, their website, earth,
Yeah,
ERTH
ERTH.
dot app,
Yeah,
dot app,
yeah.
right? So you can see there how he promote so that people will believe in their service. So I think we have come to the end of this sharing session. Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank you, thank
So
you, thank you.
as for Anchor organizer, we have finished our two sessions. Before this, last week we have webinar, and today we have finished the Hangout one session. So after this, you may follow more program from us. This evening we have one program, which is Hangout 2 from Mr. Rias bin Tan Sri Hashim. And this night we have from Monster. So keep following our updates, and thank you very much for joining this event. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, babe.